Hello, it's Brian here. I'm with the Eat Like Santa, Look Like Jesus video. And I wanted to bring this to you because this is the busiest time of year right now with all the holiday hustle and bustle and what's going on. Now, this is for those who want to take advantage of the new year, right? New Year's resolutions are coming up real quick here. You probably haven't thought about them. Why? Because you're trying to enjoy all the holiday cheer and fun, the sweets and treats that are out there going on, right? You struggled with completing your holiday and New Year's resolutions, right? Your holiday goal is to get through without gaining 5 pounds, and then getting into the first 2-3 weeks of January and being able to stick with it longer than you want to, right? And then you naturally inclined to stop. That's where people fail, right? Now, lastly, like I said, this holiday 5 pounds. It's a statistic. Most people gain 3 to 5 pounds in the course of this 3 to 4 week span because they go overboard on all their office parties, their holiday parties, their friend get-togethers, and then just their own get-togethers with their favorite little treats that they have. So the promise here, what I'm promising you, there's a couple different things that we're going to go over in this video. Now, stick to the end, and I have a sweet little something for you to take advantage of. It's something I give my private clients to, and I think you'll enjoy it, and it'll be highly valuable and beneficial to get you through the next few weeks. Okay? Now, what you'll discover is we're going to go over a simple nutrition concept that will allow you to have the holiday cheer while still being able to meet your fitness goals, right? That's important. I want to make sure that you feel, look, and feel the way you want to here in these next few weeks, okay? Secondly, we're going to teach you how to design what the majority of your meals should look like, all right? This will allow you to enjoy the foods that come about this time of year and then also eat like Santa, right? Lastly, what we're going to do is discover an easy workout routine that's fast and efficient, that's going to work for you to burn as much body fat as possible, right? So if you are someone who has failed with setting their New Year's resolutions, they've gotten 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, and you failed, right? It's okay. You're not alone. Probably about 95% of the people that go through this time frame do it. Just look at your local gym, right? If you're a gym member, you know January into February, maybe it's super busy, right? Now, what we can do is we need to push through, right? All right. Now, also, you decide to throw your nutrition into the wind these days, right? Because I don't care. I'm going to enjoy myself. That's all and good. You still can enjoy yourself, and that's the eating like Santa part. But then you have goals that come after that. So you don't want to take 5 pounds or 5 steps back to then allow you to have to work those off with the busy crowds in the new year, right? Now, if you're someone who just can't say no to those sweets and treats, your coworker, your family, your friend, they bring over trays of cookies and they give them to you as a sign of love, and a sign to show that they care about you. Now, food is love, and people bake enormous amounts of cookies to be able to give out to people and show their love for them, right? So, if some of those things that I just mentioned resonate with you, then let's stick around. I have that guide that I talked about. It'll take you through the whole process from your inspired motivation to setting goals to 2 different types of workouts to some accountability work and really making things happen for you, okay? So let me check with you real quick, all right? Does this sound like you in the current state right now? You are at work, right? That's like everybody spends the majority of their days, right? And you're minding your own business, doing your work, and then you end up walking into the break room at one point, right? What are there? There's mounds of cookies, mounds of carbs, mounds of fat that are just piled high for you to dive into. And it's screaming your name, right? And so this becomes an issue because then you become overwhelmed with the sensation and the wanting and the desire of those carbs, those fats, those good little things full of sugar that you want to eat, right? So that's the break room situation that you got going on, right? Then you feel, there's the second situation is if you feel like you've been in control, you've been really good September into October, you're able to make it through Halloween and not have a big deal about stealing your children's candy or again, going back to the office, the little dishes full of the fun size candy bars, right? So you end up just giving up on those and you just grab and the day goes by that you end up craving that sugar all day long, right? Then lastly, you find yourself unmotivated to go to the gym. Why? It's getting cold, it's getting dark outside, right? And so why do you want to get off of work at like 5 and it's dark outside to go to the gym? You've had a long day full of sugar and you're just motivated. Well, listen, okay? If those examples sound like you, then I've got good news because they're not the real problem, okay? Now let me explain here. What the real problem is for you is no accountability, all right? Now, if you're able to follow through on the things that you said that you're going to do, then some of those issues, like walking in the break room and having mounds of food there just waiting for you, wouldn't be an issue, right? Because you already decided that you weren't going to have that, or maybe you decided to have a little bit and you could stick to that and not feel the need to eat more and more and more, right? Okay? So the real problem that I find that the majority of my clients that I deal with is accountability and the lack thereof. Just not sticking to the goals and doing exactly what they say when they say it, right? Well, I'm Brian Piranha, and I've owned 2 gyms. I've spent the last decade doing exercise, nutrition. I'm in the trenches, working with clients day in, day out, working through their needs, their individual nuances, and their emotional responses to food, and all of this stuff that I spend lots of time diving into them. So I have a little bit of an edge knowing what most people do and how they kind of end up in the situations they do. Those 5 extra pounds. Think about that. If you have 10 years that you just added 5 pounds just in this time frame that we're in right now, and guess what happens? 10 years from now, you're 50 pounds overweight. You didn't do anything else the rest of the year. You maintained your weight from what you gained through the holidays. That's a big, big problem that provides a lot of health issues for you, all right? So remember, what the real problem is the lack of accountability. What you end up doing is you give up on yourself a little bit too early. Your goals aren't strong enough. There's not an inspired motivation enough for you to stick to them regardless of what comes your way or how you feel when you wake up in the morning, right? So that's the biggest thing that I find with a lot of my clients is that we need to have something to anchor you down that's going to allow you to get up, and no matter how you feel, you're going to push through and get the results that you want, right? All right. Once you're able to follow through with the goals that you set, you probably know what to do, you're just not doing it. You're able to experience a freedom from the guilt and the shame of overeating those cookies or those holiday dishes or those meals out with friends and family that cause you to get into this sticky situation in the first place. You'll end up rarely missing workouts. Why? Because you'll look and feel a lot better about yourself through movement, through the endorphin release. There's tons and tons and tons of benefits from moving, and you won't want to miss those because you know that those are going to keep you on track and allow you to keep the pounds at bay, all right? And then you'll just feel plain good about yourself. You'll be able to look in the mirror and see like, hey, that's one hot person. So going back to the content now. So here's the things that I want to deliver for you that I promised earlier on, okay? What we have is a simple nutrition concept that will allow you to have some holiday cheer while still being able to meet your fitness goals. Now, what that is flexible dieting. Okay, I'm a big fan of If It Fits Your Macros. Why? Because it takes the foods that you eat on a regular basis and it teaches you how to portion them out so that you are able to then eat and know how to feed yourself through these foods, right? Most of us only eat like 30 foods on a regular basis. And because of that, we've grown attached to certain items, say carbs, and end up just doing a couple extra scoops of those guys in there. And once you start studying flexible dieting, then that allows you to shrink and have some flexibility. Now, what happens in flexible dieting? We're spending about 80 to 90% of our day eating clean foods. That's going to leave you a little sliver of calories that you can spend on something else. The big, huge benefits of flexible dieting that I found, I use this every day on myself, is that we avoid food cravings. Why? Because you give into those. You allow yourself to have those little bit of food. Okay? Now, what happens when I say you are not allowed to have any more chocolate? You want chocolate. That's plain and simple. It's psychology, right? So what happens if I say, hey, you're allowed to have chocolate in the next 3, 4, 5 months that we work together? I actually encourage you to have a little bit. Why? Because we're going to avoid the binges. We're going to avoid the emotional attachment to that food. And it's not really going to be that big of a deal. All right? What's the basic concept of flexible dieting? Well, we break it into macros or macronutrients, okay? Macronutrients are carbs, proteins, fats. I like to track fiber and then sugar as well. Why? Because these encapsulate the majority of what your food is made up of. Now, when you break it down into these categories, then food is just simply building blocks, okay? Pasta is okay. Bread is okay. Oils and nut butters and different types of meats are okay. The occasional treat is okay, all right? Now, the portion sizes vary. For example, we take 1 cup of broccoli versus 1 cup of oatmeal, all right? Both clean, good, healthy foods, right? Now, what happens when we separate them out? And you understand this flex of the flexible dieting part of this. Well, there's 16 calories, 4 grams of carbohydrates in broccoli. On this side with the oatmeal, we have 60 carbs, 300 calories. So 300 calories on the oatmeal, 16 calories in the broccoli. How many cups of broccoli do you need to eat to get those 60 grams of carbs? There's 300 calories. There's a lot more food to eat with broccoli, whereas there's a little bit of oatmeal. So it allows you freedom. Those are both great choices. They have fiber in them and they're low sugar, but it gives you a little bit of freedom and flexibility to mix and match the foods that you like to eat. I feel that you should be eating the foods that you eat now, and 2 months from now, and like 2 years from now. And so that's the first concept. If you want to dive into that and figure out what your macros are, there's a website that I go to, and it's a simple formula. It says it's www.whataremymacros.com. It's a super simple calculator. You can just plug in your info. Be honest, okay? Don't overestimate or underestimate. All right? You'll work your way down, and it'll spit out a formula of what you should be eating. It'll talk about your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is what you do sitting at rest. All right? Now, that means that you need to be eating more than that. So, for example, women, they want to have the 1,200 calorie diet. Well, most women, to run their metabolism, their brain takes up like 250 calories. Their kidneys takes up 250 calories. The stomach and the gut process digestion takes like 300 calories. Muscle takes like 250. When it's all said and done, there's like 1,400 calories, okay? It's not really advisable to eat underneath your basal metabolic rate. The other number that you'll see is total daily energy expenditure, okay? When you put in how many days you work out and for how long, that'll engage in your overall activity, and that'll give you a rough estimate of what your maintenance level calories should be. right? Below it suggests like 15, 20, 25%. I recommend starting at 15 with the overall idea of that we want to cut the least amount of calories out as possible and still be able to burn fat. Where most people get in trouble is they go from the least amount to a big amount, trying to get that weight off really, really fast. And what happens is that the metabolism, your metabolism, matches the input of food coming into the body. So essentially, by eating less, you end up slowing your metabolism down over time. So if you try and do the 1,200 calorie diet or 1,000 calorie diet or even worse, something below that, then what happens is that your body will slow things down and to meet that rate of intake the food that you eat, right? So what happens when you come across this time, this season where there's plenty of caloric rich foods out there? Well, you overeat pretty easily. So imagine trying to stick to 1,200 calories and you're eating 1,600 calories times 7, that's like 2,800 calories. That's like a pound of fat a week. So there you go. That's 4 pounds if you maintain that small little increment outside of that, okay? So again, check that out. It's www.whataremymacros.com. All right, if you need help, message me through Facebook. That would probably be the fastest, easiest way to get a hold of me, all right? The second one is how to design the majority of your meals so that you're able to eat like Santa and enjoy the holidays. What we want to do is focus first all of our meals around protein. Why? Because protein fills you up, it nourishes your body, builds some muscles, and it takes space of the carbohydrates. Okay, so we want to feed the body with, going back to the last point, at least like 1 gram per pound of body weight, and so that's ideal. And you can kind of fall in between 0.8 to 1.25 to give you an ideal range of how much protein that you want to take in. All right, so we want to surround by protein. We want to also have B, so veggies, as many green vegetables as possible. Why? They are low calorie, they're high fiber, and they do taste good. Okay, if you prepare them well and you're used to eating them, then they really do taste good. All right. Last up is the C. Okay, that's the carb, the starchy carbs. The starchy carbs that we're looking to eat are oatmeal, beans, whole grains like quinoa, barley, brown rice. You can have sweet potatoes. Things like those are going to fill you up and give you the fiber and the nutrition that you need. Things like processed white foods and bread and pasta, those don't work well. And you'll see what happens when you end up putting them into your macros. And to track that stuff, I highly, highly, highly recommend MyFitnessPal. Super easy, free app that you can download today and start using tonight to plan out how your day looks tomorrow. All right? Now, so recapping what the majority of your meals should look like. Protein and vegetables, a minimum. And then lastly, carbohydrates. All right? So, then, last up, a easy, effective, fat-burning workout. Circuits, okay? We're going to do an upper body movement, a lower body movement, and a core movement. You're going to cycle those through 3 rounds combined, so just go one to the next, doing 30 seconds of work at each of them. Take a minute break afterwards. Go through it again. Take a minute break. Cycle through a 3rd time, take a break. Then you'll move on to 3 other pairs. Some of this is in the booklet, all right? So it kind of breaks it down into what you can do, how you can do it, and work through an anywhere workout. That's what I'd call it, body weight, okay? The other thing is HIIT, high intensity interval training. And what HIIT is doing something hard and then followed by something easy. So 5-minute warm-up, 10 sets of 30 seconds hard, 30 seconds easy. 30 seconds hard, 30 seconds easy. This is study after study after study have shown that this burns fat faster than any steady state cardio. So you're more apt to doing 10 to 15 minutes of really hard, intense, go, 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 go type work rather than doing 30 to 40, 50 minutes of steady state activity. All right. So recapping those three things. So we went over what a simple nutrition concept, the flexible dieting, along with how to figure out what macros you should be at, www.whataremymacros.com. And then we went over the meal design, protein, vegetables, and carbs sometimes. All right. Then we covered over the exercise, right? A circuit style would be a great, efficient way to use your time right now and burn a lot of calories. And then the HIIT cardio just burns fat like crazy. All right, so hopefully you appreciate all that stuff. Now, what I'm interested in are the action takers, the people that want to move, that want to take advantage of these 3 weeks here and not gain weight, okay? So if you're one of those people, if you want your New Year's resolutions to actually be successful this year and not make it to January 15th with everybody else and you drop off the bandwagon, then I want you to take action, all right? If you want it to be different this year, this is the time. And if you do not want to feel sick and tired of the way you look, the way you feel, what you think about yourself, I want you guys to download the guide. All right, it's going to be right next to here. Just a simple email. I can send it over to your email. You can look through it. It's a couple pages. It's a visual guide that allows you to kind of go through the whole flow of what I do with my clients. All right, and I encourage you to dive into it, look at it, start applying new things. If you have questions, hit me up on Facebook, message me, and I would love to share that. The other thing is I have a private group. It's I Love Macros. It's on Facebook. I'm going to be sharing a lot of cool stuff. I got a lot of big plans for 2016 and what to put in there. And so I welcome you. If you watch this far in, this is a bonus treat to come on in. Why? Because it's going to allow you to engage in a community of people, local people, that are going to push you, create accountability, which is the real reason that most people have fail in this holiday time. All right, so 2 things. You're going to get the booklet, the PDF that I can send out in the email. Secondly, I want you to friend me on Facebook if we're not friends, and then ask to join I Love Macros private Facebook group. All right, I want to thank you for your time. I hope that with the information I gave you, you can eat like Santa Claus and look like Jesus this holiday season. Thanks.